an opportunity for Scream if he can find him. There we go, Scream looking to make it happen. Oh my God, Scream gets it.
Find one. Vision Strike is
needs to try and find a way to push out, and instead
there it is. There's a snake bite. Can he stop this? Is a snake bite going to be enough?
Zach's now going to go down. Mako is good for a third. Now a 1v1, and there it is. He gets the headshot.
How do pros know what to do in clutches? What's going through their minds, and how can you do the same? First, you need to analyze your situation. What's your objective? How long do you have to accomplish it? And what advantages do you have? There are also video chapters if you want to skip to different parts of the video. Also, if you could like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, that would be much appreciated. The community Discord link is also in the description. How much health do all the enemy players and yourself have? Where are your enemies? And what weapons do you all have? Those are just a few questions you have to ask yourself as your last teammate goes down. Once you've gotten a good grasp of the situation, you need to figure out a course of action. Doing this will not only calm your nerves, but give you a sense of right or wrong in any given situation. When you know what to do, you'll be much calmer. Also, if you're nervous that all your teammates are watching you, don't be. You're in a clutch. The whole point of a clutch situation is trying to win a round that is not in your favor. If you fail, they'll say nice try and move on, and if you win, you'll be a hero. The first rule of clutching is to isolate enemies. Isolate enemies and pick them off one by one. Once you have a course of action, execute it. With that in mind, you still have to make plays. Sitting backside in a corner isn't going to get you far. For example, if you're in a 1v3 and you've just planted a spike, think about what you can do as an agent. If you're a more aggressive agent like Jett or Reyna, maybe push up and try to get a pick or two. If you're a passive agent with post-plant util, you can try to get one kill and back off and maybe play for your util. Considering you're at a disadvantage, you have to roll the dice. Think about it, the only time you should ever try to make a play in a comp game is when you're down in numbers. It's never in a 5v3 that you should dry swing out of a smoke. You will get yelled at. When clutching, there is no right or wrong choice. It's more of a spectrum that differs from player to player and agent to agent. Depending on your playstyle, agent, current situation, and the way you and your enemy have been performing throughout this match, it may change. In a clutch, you have to make high-risk plays. High-risk, high-reward plays win clutches because in a clutch there is no type of low-risk, low-reward play that wins you the round. A high-risk, high-reward play either gives you a chance to win or you lose right away. But that is a risk you have to take in a clutch. A low-risk, low-reward play almost always loses you the round. If you plant the spike and run away in an attempt to not get into a fight, you're probably gonna live, but you're also going to lose the round. You also need to think about where your enemies may be peeking from and how to only show yourself to one angle at a time. Since visual learning is one of the best ways to take in information, I'm now going to analyze a few pro clutches and how they approach clutching. The first clutch we're going to look at is the VCT EMEA Map 2 of Guild vs BBL.
Oh, BBL are larger in charge. Leo is still doing what he can though. If there's only one man standing, you would want it to be Leo right now, but he needs this more than ever as Bora on the other side. Still going to be a problem. Spots out aim DLL, expects the swing from heaven, but it's not there just yet. Looks behind the generator, two towards heaven. Can he find these individually? Surely not. Spots one, takes it. Leo now, given another chance, he takes it. Stop giving Leo chances. He doesn't need the help of the two clutch players. Now fighting.
Looking at Guild Leo, he gets put in a 1v4 situation in which he quickly gets a trade on his last fallen teammate. Leo knows that one enemy is in A main and Sova was just ulting from CT spawn. He chooses to plant in that spot because he is fully safe from the A main guy, and anyone peeking from heaven is vulnerable to a possible fake plant. Leo hears an enemy running up in A heaven and hugs Jen as he holds heaven for a second or two. He then turns around and backpedals so his back is flush with the heaven wall as he peeks A main. In the same way you want to isolate enemies to fight them one by one, you also want to ensure only one enemy can see you at a time. After he kills the Astra in A main, he heard one drop from heaven. Sova threw his dart from heaven, and Killjoy put a turret down in hell, telling Leo that they both came from heaven and that he doesn't need to worry about tree room. Knowing only one enemy dropped, it's pretty common in a situation like this, a retake on a site, that one enemy stays heaven and holds Jen. Knowing this, Leo peeks Heaven in a way that exposes him to Heaven and Heaven only. This is to not get traded quickly if Killjoy is very close or holding some off angle. Once he eliminates the Sova, he only has one bullet in his Phantom, and so he pulls out his classic instead of reloading. He does this because he has no info on how close Killjoy is. Reloading here is a bad idea because Guild Leo doesn't know how close Killjoy is. If he reloads, she could turn the corner and kill him right away. He pulls out his classic, jump spots for info, sees that Killjoy isn't close on that side of Jen, and then jiggles towards Dice. In baiting out a shot, he wide swings and gets the kill, winning him the clutch. If you have any questions about why Leo did what he did, or anything in this clutch, feel free to leave a comment with a timestamp and I will respond. The second clutch we're looking at is during VCT Masters Berlin, where Gambit Nats pulls off a 1v3 against G2.
And snuffed by Mixwell, and turns out it was the other way around. Nats now having to clutch this one out. No idea where Mixwell is, and the snake bite not quite clearing the angle. He's about to run to site, reloading, and Mixwell completely whips Nats.
After 3 of his teammates fall to Mixwell on site, and seeing the Sova dart from spawn, Nats knows where 2 enemies are. The Jet is unknown, so he needs to find her. Since G2 Mixwell, the enemy Viper, knows his 2 teammates are CT spawn, and Nats is stuck around the screens area, Mixwell knows to hide because reinforcements are coming. Nats also knows this and knows he doesn't really need to worry about Viper too much right now. Because of this, Nats decides to swing CT spawn and try to get a pick. After getting a nice flick onto Sova, the enemy Jet misses an op shot revealing her location. Nats knows Viper is probably going to stay around where he killed Nats' teammates because it's the safest thing to do in this situation. Because the spike is dropped around the orb, Nats decides to grab the spike and or fight Mixwell. After grabbing spike, Nats reloads after spamming nest and runs through maze to site. The reason why Nats runs through maze instead of towards Gen is that that area is less likely to be watched by Viper. Viper's teammate had an op and could provide support in that area. Mixwell peeks Nats in maze as he's reloading, and Nats jumps and strafes to hug the wall as his reload is just finishing. Nats knows that Mixwell is going to try to peek fast to try to capitalize on his unlucky reload, so Nats pre-fires and Mixwell's head goes straight into the bullet. After that, Nats peeks screens as that's a more likely spot for Jet to be. The reason Jet is more likely to be screens is that it's easier to retake A from screens than from Heaven. When retaking A from screens, all you have to do is really clear in front of you. But if you come from Heaven, you have to clear to your right and left, which is a big angle for you to move your mouse, and it is very difficult. Nats does indeed get a nice kill on the trade attempt, and it's over for the enemy Jet. If Nats went towards Gen, towards default, instead of going through maze, assuming he kills Viper, he would have had to worry about the Heaven walkout from Jet, as well as Jet coming from screens and either going to the left, up rope, or to the right by 410. Once again, if you have any questions about this clutch or the decisions made, leave them in the comments with the timestamp and I will respond.